Profit is not the most important criteria in running a business. Profit is not the most important criteria in running a business. I'm going to give my reasons for that later. When there's no profit, your business can still survive. However, if you've got profit, your business can still fail. I'll be outlining the reason why in this video, and I hope it's going to be of help to someone out there watching. The idea of this video is just basically going to explain why you may have profit and fail in your business. You may have no profit as of yet, still be able to pull through in your business. Many businesses in today's world fail, and people from the outside just say, oh, the business was not profitable enough, or it couldn't do as much as it's meant to do, or there was a mistake made by the founder, or there was this and there was that, but they fail to realize the absolute important reason why it failed. They ran out of cash. Many times, a business would be very profitable. In fact, they would be able to turn out as much as needed, but they would just not have cash reserves, and they would not just have cash flow to maintain the operation of the business. And I'll be explaining how certain mistakes can actually lead to this. Many businesses would attribute success in a business to the revenue they get. In fact, that's what many people look out for. Most of the time, especially at the beginning, that's what I also look out for. When my business is doing well and more sales are coming, I feel excited, I feel jittery, and I feel like we're doing something. But whereas what we should be looking out for is, amidst the excitement and the sales coming in, once the expenses has been out, what remains? That's profit. But in addition to that, how can your profit be converted to cash flow? And that's what we'd really be talking about, because a lot of businesses that have been very profitable or that have been somewhat profitable have died along the line just because of common mistakes that they were not able to make or they were not able to distinguish from that would help them build their cash flow as a business. And I'll be outlining a couple of these mistakes, and I do hope that someone out there would be able to connect to it, relate to it, and find it helpful. The very first mistake is mixing the difference between cash and profit. I'm going to give an illustration with this. Now, when a company makes money, they would usually make it in terms of revenue. And once they make that revenue, they would usually have expenses that they shed off the revenue. So when money comes in from a sale, say 70,000 every single month, and you've got expenses you need to pay there, you need to pay here, you need to pay here, you need to pay here. All the expenses can sum to a total of 60,000. The remaining profit we have right now would probably be about 10,000. A lot of founders and a lot of business owners make the mistake that, okay, you know what, it's actually my revenue, so I'm good. And they spend that revenue like it's actually the money that the business has made. Whereas the business has just made a revenue, which is a sale, and that revenue is what's meant to rev the expenses. And once that expenses has been revved or have been serviced, we are left with a difference, which is the actual profit. So that's where the difference is. And as simple as this may sound, it's very, very, very important for businesses to know that there is a clear distinction between that 10,000 and that 70,000. I would say that's exactly where the issue comes from. The second mistake I believe that is definitely made by a lot of businesses is growing too fast or growing too soon. Now, in the excitement of a little surge in sales, businesses get excited and be like, oh, you know what, we need to expand, we need to double our revenue, we need to triple our revenue, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do that. And when there is lack of external funding, the fact still remains that the entirety of the expansion lies on the business, right? And when you're talking about expansion, to get to where we want to get to, for example, say we're doing 50,000 today and we want to get to a monthly sales of 100,000, we'll probably need to double the staff power, we'll probably need to double the inventory, we'll probably need more space to buy and rent from, we'll probably need more storage. All these things are costs that would stack up. So by the time you've just got a little bit of surge in sales and you're looking at committing to all these sales, all these are going to eat up any cash you would have in the business on a promised projection. So what you really want to do is you want to make sure that you're growing in a prudent way, in a way that you can actually control. It's very dangerous calculating and estimating that you would need this, you would need that expansion, you would need this space, you need this stuff. Once the month comes, you're going to be making those expenses paid every single month. Whereas if the sales have not started coming in to match up with the expense, then you would, or the business could run into trouble. Another reason why a business could definitely make mistake with cash flow is holding too much inventory. Many businesses, with myself as a business owner included, make the mistake of assuming that when you have stock, everything is all good. For a fact, stock is actually an asset. So say in a retail business, for example, you need to hold stock. Like in my business, it's a retail business. I need to hold stock, right? And you could hold on stock of up to £150,000, say, for example. Now, this is the interesting fact. A stock of £150,000 is very good, right? Because it means the business actually has products to service the customers with. That's number one. To the outside eye, the business is looking well because things are fully stocked. It means business is in operation. That's number two. And number three, it looks nice on paper and on the surface. That's the truth. But now the reality is, in the bank account, it's empty. There's nothing there, right? Now, for us to convert that stock to the bank account, that's where the reality lies. Because when the stock is just on the shelf, staying there, nothing is happening to it, and it's not selling, what then happens is we've got an empty bank account, we've still got bills that need to go out, we've got stock in the warehouse, we've got stock in the business, we've got stock in the shop. We don't have what to do with it. So what we really want to do is we want to make sure that we've got the right amount of stock, because if stock is just there, it's not able to get sold, then it's going to be for nothing. Now, another mistake that is most commonly made is spending more than needs to be spent from the business, taking more than needed from the business. This is something that most founders will be guilty of. They run their business like it's a personal bank account, which is very, very bad. I was once guilty of this at an early part of my business, where anything that needs to happen, you just take money from the business, Oh yeah, sales are coming, so that's all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take money from the business bank account and then I'm going to service it. I'm the owner of the business anyways, and I can do that. But guess what? You're doing the wrong thing, because you're not accounting for that money you're taking out of the business. That money could be killing that money is actually killing the business. If you need money from the business, enroll yourself on a payroll. Pay yourself like a salary, a normal salary that is actually planned and projected. That protects yourself, that protects the business, because if the business does not exist, then you don't have a payroll in the business anymore anyways. So it's a win-win. So a lot of people, because of that, they don't monitor the expense that they actually incur on the business, and they just keep spending. And that could accumulate, that could grow a lot. This usually happens a lot. For example, businesses running at maybe £80,000 a month. Every single month, £80,000. And for the next couple of months, the next 2-3 months, it's just all of a sudden become like 90-something thousand pounds. Now that's about £15,000 in revenue growth every month constantly. As a young business, the owner would have this feeling that, oh, the business is doing well now. I can afford to change this equipment. I can afford to buy this thing. I can afford to maybe buy a new car, do something. Now, what they usually make a mistake on doing is they don't think about the fact that the 15,000 increment in revenue is actually not 15,000 of raw money, because that money still needs to go into expenses that led to the growth, still needs to go into inventory that led to the growth. The net profit that would be remaining from all those growth in revenue would probably be about £2,000. So instead of them thinking in terms of there's just £2,000 left in the business accounts that can actually be maneuvered and actually be used for something useful in the business, many of them would think, oh, there's £15,000 in the business. And this is what kills the business, because it means you're running the business out of cash. That's just basically what it means. One other important reason that could kill the business is an important cash flow mistake that people make a lot, is not having cash reserve in the business. I can't overemphasize this. Having a business running and you don't have money for unforeseen contingencies. Anything can happen. For example, we've got an equipment just broke down and there's no insurance on the equipment. It could happen. Maybe a freezer in the store, one of the cold rooms, and it's usually very expensive. If you don't have any cash flow reserve, it means you need to manufacture money to do that. If not, you would have to lose it, or you need to take out the loan. The loans could be expensive. If you have the cash flow reserve, it means that would be resolved easily. Another reason for cash flow reserve could be something happened. There was a loss of sale, massive drop in sale, just like that. Because you have a cash flow reserve, certain payments that need to go out on certain time would basically still go out. So that's something that needs to be very, very careful about. Another thing that businesses make a lot is having very poor credit control. You issue out credit to businesses or customers and you don't even monitor it properly. The danger of actually issuing out credit is, say, for example, you get a really good sale from a business. You want to offer them credit. They're placing an order worth of, say, £500,000 into your business. That's a good amount of money. I would be very happy if I received the amount of order myself, right? And they're saying, you know what, we need you to supply this item to us, but the payment term is 120 days. So that just basically means the lay term is suppliers of product will pay you the money, but 4 months after. Now, this is very dangerous, right? Because you still have your rent to pay, you still have the staff to pay, you probably contracted staff to make up the big order, which is not usually what you would make. You still have to pay them as well, you have to pay the bills, you have to pay the products, which is very, very important and very expensive. So you need to pay all these payments, but not only for 1 month, not for 2 months, not for 3 months, but for 4 months. You would have to manufacture money to pay for 4 months before those payment promised on credit terms would arrive to your business. This is one major killer of a business. It means you would need to fund the other person's business, if you think about it in that terms, because what's happening is you're buying the product with your business money, or you're looking for money to buy the product, you're paying your staffs month on month, you're paying all your expenses, you're doing everything needed to happen, your business is still expected to grow normally. 120 days after you've supplied the product to the business, that's when they're going to pay you. If you don't have a good cash reserve, or you don't have a good financial projection, you could mess up your business. These are mistakes that I've seen from my own experience as the owner of my business that has definitely kept us in a very difficult positions in the past. As a business owner that has learned 1 or 2 things, there are a few things I would advise to be able to combat this. The first one would definitely be a weekly cash flow monitoring. So you need to monitor your cash flow weekly, what's coming in, what's coming out. And the reason it needs to be weekly, not monthly, not quarterly, is because you have time for observing immediate fast issues. Any issues that occur within the week on week, you can easily fix it. And once you fix it, you can find a solution to it, and you can actually create a permanent solution to it. Number 2, you want to make sure you have a very good forecasting, right? You can actually forecast your data, and forecasting is not just to sound complicated and, oh, you know what, I'm a small business, how can I forecast? One of the easiest way to forecast is you want to make sure that when you are dealing with suppliers, even if you would be wary of offering your customers credit terms, you want to see how they can offer you credit terms, because that buys you time and that keeps your cash flow in a positive, because you're not spending money you shouldn't spend. You'll always be ready to negotiate terms that would put you in the positive light, and that helps your cash flow focus as well. Another important advice I'll give there is work on your cash flow being positive. Always have reserve funds, because they would help you. They would always help you. When I decided that we're going to start doing this in my business, I said, you know what, we're going to aim for a cash flow of over £10,000 at any given point in time in the business bank account. When we spoke to our accountant, they were like, you've not actually respected a rule of cash flow before. Jumping to £10,000 is almost a miracle. Actually, it's not practical. So we started doing something. We started from as low as we could possibly have. So we started from about £400. We said within a week, we'll make sure that we never go lower than £400 in the business bank account. Then after that, we saw in a couple of weeks that we were able to do that. Then we increased it to like £700, then to £1,500, then to £2,000, then to £3,000. And we kept going like that. And before we knew it, after a couple of months, we were able to maintain a decent amount of liquid money in the bank account that basically is unreserved. And that way keeps us in a lot more suitable position. I'm not saying that you shouldn't aim towards profit. In fact, you must aim towards profit, because profit basically is what is expected of any vibrant business, and that's how you grow your business. However, cash is the survival of any business, because without cash, the business is as good as dead. So in as much as you make sure that you want to attain your profit, you need to always monitor your cash. I can't overemphasize that. Monitor your cash day in, day out. Make sure it's exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to round up with an illustration. Just imagine 2 businesses. The first business is turning over 15 million yearly, right? Now, but the profit that remains in the business at the end of the year is about 20,000. So they turn over 15 million annually, but they're left with a profit of 20,000, genuine profit of 20,000, not worked out profit. There's another business. The business is turning over 400,000 yearly. but they are left with a net profit of 200,000. So basically, the expense that the second company B, actually facilitates throughout the whole year is just half of their revenue. Whereas the revenue is not so juicy, but their profit is actually a lot. Now, category A, their revenue is very impressive, 15 million, but they're left with a 20,000 profit. I personally, as a business owner of any one of these companies, I want to bet that the company B will sleep better at night because their profit has gotten to a situation where it's now a working cash flow for them. They would always be left with extra cash in the business. Maybe it may be because of the business model, maybe it may be because they cut down expenses, whatever they've done, they would always be left with extra cash in the business. Whereas business B, everybody would say, oh, this business is doing well, sales are moving, 15 million, this is a lot of money, that's nice. However, what's left in the net profit is 20,000. So anything can go wrong. Any moving factor there can dismantle everything. And that just basically means they may not probably have a good night rest, right? Because they would always be stressing about how can I grow this business? How can this be better? How can that be better? The point I'm trying to make here is this. Revenue itself, right, and stock are important, but there is a lot of things more important than that. Profit is more important than revenue, like we've established. Now, something also more important than profit is cash, right? So what I would just want to leave with is, let us just bear these simple facts in mind. Stock is vanity, right? I've explained why it's vanity. Profit is sanity. Makes you happy, keeps the business going for a little while, but that's not what actually keeps the business alive. And cash is king. I'll rewind it another way around. Revenue is good, profit is encouraging, but cash is survival. So without cash, your business cannot survive. And I hope you learn this and you understand this. Thank you very much.